Israel's Mossad chief David Barnea reportedly visited Qatar to meet with the senior officials over the weekend. The meeting was aimed at discussing the release of more than 235 hostages held by Hamas, as Israel is ramping up its ground offensive in the Gaza Strip. Now, Qatar has raised alarms against the move, saying that it has in fact considerably complicated mediation on the hostage release efforts. The spokesperson for Qatar's foreign ministry has in fact said that Israel has intensified its offensive in Gaza, and this has significantly complicated Doha's efforts in securing the release of hostages. On the other hand, Hamas's Gaza member Yahya Sinwar has said that the resistance group is now ready to quote-unquote immediately conduct a prisoner exchange. And this exchange deal includes the release of quote-unquote the Palestinian prisoners from Israeli prisons, in exchange of the hostages held by Hamas during the unprecedented attack that took place on Israeli soil. In response, Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu has said that Tel Aviv is discussing the issue. Netanyahu has added that discussing details publicly would actually harm the efforts of reaching a deal. Now, the Israeli Prime Minister has also said that broadening the ground offensive will in no way clash with Israel's ability to bring the hostages back. Meanwhile, Hamas has released a video in which 3 Israeli women who are presently in Hamas's custody are slamming Netanyahu. Now, the women are saying that Netanyahu must agree for a prisoner swap. His first duty is the protection of the Israeli people, and he's failed in his duty to protect the Israeli people. The 3 women also slam Netanyahu and have said that his job is to get them back home first, and Netanyahu is just not doing this. Now, Israel claims that this video is some kind of psychological warfare that Hamas is resorting to. But the fact is, these 3 Israeli women are saying that Israel has completely failed in its duty. Now, Israel has also put out some details of a woman soldier who reportedly is claimed has been rescued from Hamas's captivity. Now, the Israeli military statement says that the soldier Ori Mejidish was brought back during a ground operation after being kidnapped by Hamas on the 7th of October. The statement went on to reveal that the soldier was in fact medically checked and is doing well and is in fact met with her family. But the tragic reality looms. A 23-year-old German-Israeli woman abducted by Hamas has now been declared dead. Shani Locke, who remember had become the face of the abductions from the Supernova Music Rave Festival, which was the first attack location that Hamas fighters in fact carried out in this war. Now, Israel's foreign ministry has published a statement confirming Shani Locke's death. The Post has also said that Shani was reportedly paraded around Gaza by the Hamas fighters. The protests against Netanyahu's government from Jewish communities in Israel and the world over continue to get louder. In the latest demonstration, about 100 activists and families from Israeli villages that were attacked have set up more than 200 beds, and they're calling for the Israeli government to try secure the release of the captives. The beds, which symbolized hostages, were set up outside of Jerusalem mayor's office.
The government should do anything to bring back our loved ones. Anything. There is nothing else that is more important than that. Just to bring them home now.
The Israeli military, meanwhile, has continued with its ground operations in the Gaza Strip. The Israeli Defense Forces claim to have hit more than 150 underground tunnels and bunkers marked as Hamas operatives and positions. And also, our correspondent Jody Cohen has been tracking the story very closely for us from Israel in Ra'anana. Listen to what she has to say.
US Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with Qatar's Prime Minister on Monday and discussed efforts to release the hostages. Now, there's been a campaign launched for the release of the hostages, and I met some members of the families of those who've been kidnapped, and it's indescribable what they are going through. For example, Hamas just released a propaganda video of some of those hostages, and this has been called psychological warfare. The families are trying to raise awareness of those who've been kidnapped and their plight, and there are art installations across the country to try and keep the momentum up and keep those hostages in people's thoughts. Now, the Israeli army is conducting raids into Gaza, And last night they actually rescued Ori, a young female soldier who'd been kidnapped by Hamas on the 7th of October. They're not releasing the details of the rescue operation. They don't want to give intelligence to Hamas to prevent further operations like this from going ahead in the future. But Prime Minister Netanyahu has said that the ground operations create a possibility, if not a certainty, of rescuing hostages. And Benny Gantz, who, remember, had been in the opposition and joined the Israeli Emergency Unity government, said that Israel will use every means to return the hostages from Gaza. This is Jodie Cohen for WION World as One.